Hello friends, welcome to Skills for You at Girija. This is the third episode in the series for capacity building and enhancement of teaching tools. Are you listening? Listening is the doorway to learning and interacting, hence it is crucial for language learners of all skills. In the earlier segment, I had emphasized that listening is an internal skill and students must listen, internalize, process and respond. This actually involves sound production, sound transmission through the ear, sound signals processed by the brain, and finally decoding sound to meaningful patterns. The time span for this to happen could vary. So teachers must be conscious of this in the classroom. Teachers may detect listening concerns and it can be addressed at an early stage. This process is critical for language development in an infant, career and college readiness, and to the appreciation of a spectacular symphony by an adult. How to listen well is hard work, but the good news is over time, listening can become more programmed. Being a listening star will be beneficial in all areas of life, in school, in personal relationships, and in professional work situations. I am sure you totally agree with this. So now, time to get going with our next set of activities. This one is called the grid game. Students sit in pairs back to back. One student has a sheet with a grid. The grid has either names of famous people, leaders, countries, vocabulary, or any topic the teacher chooses. The other student has only the blank grid sheet. The student with the names calls out one by one in a random way, giving correct directions. Example, write India in the top left-hand block and so on. Again, the game can be redesigned in many ways. Like the pairs can be reshuffled. Different grids can be given and circulated. It is an effective way to teach prepositions too. Moving on to the next activity. In this activity, one student comes in front of the class. The class asks a question and the student gives an answer. Likewise, other students come forward and when the questions are asked, they give their response. Meanwhile, the teacher makes few notes like names of the students, questions asked and the answers given. Later, teacher asks the class a few questions from her notes and students must give the reply appropriately. For example, what was Sushma's favorite book? The answer is Harry Potter. What did Reena do during summer? Reena visited her grandparents. This is a test for accurate listening and greater retention. I call the next listening activity as class memory quiz. Teacher gives a theme statement like I went to the zoo and saw something. Students are invited to complete the sentence. The first student says, I went to the zoo and saw a tiger. The second student has to say, I went to the zoo and saw a tiger and a zebra. Students must say the previous names and add one of their own. It's a fun activity and active listening takes place. The themes can be, I went to the shop and bought something, I went to the park and saw something, and likewise. So that's all for now, friends. Trust these activities will create the magic of listening and turn your students to listening stars. We'll be back with modules on more listening skills. Thank you. Happy listening and happy teaching.